the guru of Squad Double Z, the assassin like no other. Yes, I'm the best at what I do. One of the most notorious in YouTube anime and manga community. Don't doubt the infamy, please. It's truly real. It's here to bring you my 18th Deathmatch. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know after Deathmatch 17, if you watched that, which was Heavenly Demon Don Quixote Doflamingo, aka Joker, versus Wolverine, aka James Howlett, better known as Logan. Okay, however you want to go, James Howlett, aka Logan, better known as Wolverine. Actually, I should be said. Now, the thing is, this time no excuses. Literally, I just got back from a brief hiatus from YouTube. It happens for me every now and again. Different reasons in life, focus and recharge and everything. Right? Just so happens to be this time. But we in here, like I promised. You can see by the title. Classic Marvel encounter. We talk about classic Marvel battle, ladies and gentlemen. Some people wondered if I only do anime and manga. What? Apparently you don't know my earlier death matches. Apparently not. What? I do all. Look, I started out with DC, then moved on to Marvel, still in DC, but then Marvel, then anime and manga came later, if not last. There's video games as well. All that's inclusive, baby. And it may possibly other literature as well. What you mean? It might just anime and manga. Get out of here. Get out of here. Y'all don't even know. But anyways, without further ado, from the left side, one of the most notable, memorable figures in the Marvel Universe, one of the more versatile members in the Marvel Universe, as a human I should say, one of the most OP members in the Marvel Universe, and one of the youngest to do it as far as in his origins. He is none other than the hot-headed... I'm sorry, I gotta laugh, because it really is, besides being a pun, just thinking about it. He's none other than the hot-headed one. The master of the flames. The Human Torch. Johnny Storm. And coming from the right side, classic matchup as this is, he is a lesser known figure in the Marvel Universe, but one of the more powerful humans, pound for pound, ability for ability. This is the kind of guy that it's taken multiple heroes to take down multiple times. This guy is no pushover, and he increasingly gets more powerful. He is none other than the freak of nature, but not by choice. Hydra Man, Morris Bitch. Let us begin. Yo, this matchup here, man. This result, the result that I give out after the analysis may surprise a lot of people. Some people may one way think it's an easy battle, some another way think it's an easy battle. It's no easy battle, ladies and gentlemen, by any means. By any means. But you know I bring it fair. Whether I like characters or not, on a certain level, I bring it fair. Pure analysis. You be the judge at the end. As always, for those who don't know my death matches, I break it down into 3 categories, into a few different subcategories for each. And as always, y'all know what's coming. It's the attack category, beginning with physical strength. Afterwards it is combat speed, techniques, and destructive capacity / power. Now, physical strength. This one is a no-brainer. What is it? Johnny Storm, Human Torch, has the physical strength of a regular person. Pretty much. A regular athletic person. That's it. He has pretty much no physical strength feats whatsoever. While on the other hand, Hydra Man, he's strong, but because of his water pressure ability, it allows him to lift as much as 500 pounds. So this obviously is in favor of Hydra Man, without a question. That's one point that goes for Hydra Man as well. Combat speed, very interesting. Now, the Human Torch is one of those characters to where his travel speed and the combat speed are pretty much actually the same thing. It's one of the rare ones. Unlike Superman, who's not the same. And a lot of other characters I can think of, they're not the same. His combat speed and travel speed are pretty much the same, because he is often in flight, or at least hovering. Okay? You rarely see the Human Torch attack from a standing position. So he can book on normal over 100 miles an hour, and he can break at as fast. Well, his travel speed as fast as goes supersonic, but he normally does not fight that fast. So he can hit level few hundred miles. Hydra Man ain't no slouch in speed either, but his fighting style is a bit more stationary. So in terms of combat speed, even though Hydra Man can match up to a certain degree, especially if it becomes he goes underwater within a liquid substance, liquid medium, even though he is water itself, literally everything about him is water. When it comes down to it, Human Torch edges out Hydra Man. So we're tied, one apiece. In terms of technique, it's where it gets very interesting. Okay. Human Torch, when he's in this flame on, his classic memorable phrase, right? He becomes plasma, pretty much. Plasma-like substance, and it's the same kind of thing that neon lights deal with, but more importantly, solar ability, star-like substance. Okay, so it allows for a very superheated thing. He can send flame streams out his hands. He can use flight because of the whole thing with flames. He can control flames to some degree within the vicinity. He can make flames. He himself can become flames. Pyrokinesis. As well as, well, I mentioned pyrokinesis, I mentioned controlled flames. I'm trying to think. He has an ability to where he can do a nova, which means he can release, or supernova attack, nova, release all his flame energy at the same time. And it can hit up to like 1,000,000 degrees. As well as he can use at a greater extent his fire. That's the most main abilities he has. And when it comes to Hydra Man, as I mentioned, is water itself. He can liquefy. He can control water that's around him. To how limited his range is, we do not know at this specific moment. Every part about him, every molecule, now it is, he can control, he can disperse. When I say liquefy, not just become liquid, he can partially become liquid. Parts he can become liquid. Now, how his makeup is very interesting, to where pretty much if he falls, he will become all liquid, because if his body parts remain solid, we don't know if that would hurt him or not at this particular moment. But yeah, his whole being can literally dispersify in liquid form. He can shoot blasts of water as well, as he can kind of solidify the water. Not to the power of ice, the formation of ice, but it isn't ice itself, into a powerful fist that can knock you that way. He can make it so that he can more or less become intangible with his liquid self. There are several things that he can do. So overall, their techniques more or less balance each other out. Now, in terms of destructive capacity, this is where it gets dicey. Okay. In a limited area, as I mentioned about Nova, Human Torch can just eradicate an area. Human Torch can send plenty of fireballs and flame streams and just massively destroy. Okay, but in terms of destructive capacity, Hydra Man surprisingly enough edges this out, because Hydra Man can control water. He can bring pretty much tidal waves. Okay, he himself can just wreck shop with his water abilities. Okay, he just come through and just wreck things. So overall, even though Human Torch can be pretty oh, and also Human Torch's flames can't stay for a while. Even though Human Torch can bring the fire and can bring the destruction, Hydra Man's destructive capacity, his DC, has a greater potential. So the edge does go out to Hydra Man. So Hydra Man's a bit better in the attack category. Now, in terms of defense, we have, once again, 4 subcategories. You have reaction time, durability, stamina, and agility. Under reaction time, this is very interesting. It's hard to say. This one's hard to see because the Human Torch, he often is moving, he often reacts to various types of attacks. He's the last one to pretty much get hit in the Fantastic Four. Even though Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards is pretty flexible and pretty well done. Well, actually, no, Mr. Fantastic's a bit better. When it comes to reaction time, freaking Hydra Man can disperse himself on spot, close range attacks. So it's dicey, it's close, but I gotta give the edge slightly to Hydra Man. Hydra Man gets 1 for defense. When it comes to durability, again, this is a tough one, but I gotta give it to Hydra Man. Because though a Human Torch, he's plasma and he can tank a lot, he is still a human. Without the flames, without the plasma state, he is human. Hydra Man is water itself. He's no longer a normal human. It's not like he's turning on water. No, his physiology has been molecularly altered because of a chemical reaction. Because of that, he can tank a boatload. It is hard as hell to defeat this guy. In fact, you pretty much have to, and I'll explain what you have to do to really stop him. But you can't really beat him unless you completely eradicate his atomic situation. Because what it is his cells, I forget if it's cellular or atomic, but it's either the cellular or atomic. Each has its own conscience. If it's a little bit and that's left, it has its own conscience, and he can more or less regenerate. Now that'll get more into the stamina. But yeah, his durability is ridiculous. So once again, it goes to Hydra Man. Stamina once again goes to Hydra Man. Here's why though. Even more. So this is a great big fix. Here's the thing though. Human Torch can last in normal state, or just normal, just last up to 17.5 hours in his fire state. The more he uses, the more it drains his stamina. Now I mentioned the Nova attack. If he uses that and that miss, he's done. He has no more fire ability, so he's fully exposed as a human. Okay, he can upgrade his potency in fire, but that drains his. So he needs this to end the quicker the battle goes, the better it is for him. When it comes to Hydra Man, it has not been showcased how long he can stay in his liquefied state. It has not been showcased how much it would take. Now, it gets to a certain point where he does get tired and, But as far as in how much strength, we have not fully seen how long he can go in battle. Not to mention, I talk about his regenerative capabilities and how hard it is to actually stop him. You would have to eradicate pretty much every cell or every part of his liquefied being, because they each have their own conscience. Now, also when it comes to weaknesses, this one comes as a particular part of this battle, and this is why the stamina also goes to Hydra Man. The Human Torch. Anything that can dull down his fire, including water, fire extinguisher, any of those, any way you can think of to take down heat. Now, if he intensifies this heat, you're gonna need more intense ability to nullify his ability. But water is one of those significant points. When it comes to Hydra Man, ain't nothing really taking this guy down. Like, things, he can evaporate, you can stop him. But as far as in fully defeating and killing, the most effective way to fully stop him is putting him on ice. Now, this is where, let's say, Iceman Bobby Drake came in. He would be a horrible opponent for Hydra Man to face. Even though technically Human Torch defeated Hydra Man earlier, that was a pretty much new Hydra Man. He just had gained his abilities, so it's not even a fair comparison. Okay, this dude had just gained his abilities, and he was also fighting Human Torch was fighting alongside Spider-Man at the time. Okay, but this dude, this is I'll get more into his fighting, to their fighting experience later on down the line. So right now it's 3-0 in the defensive category. When it comes to agility, Ace is clear favorite. Human Torch, again, his whole thing is about elusive, and even though his reaction time might not be as well as good as Hydra Man's, the thing about it, man, Hydra Man is more of a stationary fighter. He moves when that's necessary, but the Human Torch is constantly in movement for good reasons. Okay, I mean, he's a range fighter, mid to long range fighter for the most part. Now I'll get into fighting style, but also, again, he can't tank as if his fire is done, he loses that flammability. As a human, he can't take that damage against a lot of guys, so it'd be better not for him to get hit to begin with. Hydra Man, because of his ridiculous durability, especially his pretty much hacks stamina, he can afford hits, so his agility doesn't have to be as good, specifically when it's hard as hell to touch him, catch him tangibly. Even Spider-Man has an issue with that, so it gives it to the Human Torch. So in the defensive category, Hydra Man goes 3-1. Now in comes strategy, arguably the most important of the categories in combat. And on the strategy, we have 3 subcategories: location, fighting style, and fighting IQ. Now, location. As far as we know, neither can fight space. Well, I'm not sure about Human Torch. And as far as underwater, I would clearly favor Hydra Man. So if it went underwater, Hydra Man clearly becomes water itself, and he can mix with the water. Yeah, he's in clear favorite. Otherwise, if they fought in regular land, there ain't, even in the desert, it ain't really, most climates, most environments, neither is in major favorite. So, except for maybe for aquatic, and possibly in space, if Human Torch can survive for long periods in space. When it comes to fighting style, I mentioned previously that Johnny Storm is a range fighter. He is mainly a mid to long range fighter. Okay, pretty much all his attacks come from mid and long range. You don't really see close range. Now, Hydra Man is a close mid. He's mainly a close to mid range fighter, but he could clearly go long range because of his water abilities. But he prefers to get inside for obvious reasons. More pound for pound, pressure. Okay, more water pressure to hit you with. The longer the attack, the more likely it not to make hits. But he can make things happen from afar because of his control of water and because of his movement. Okay, so it's interesting in that facet as well. Both clash pretty well. If this is weird because Human Torch can fend him off, but if he gets inside, I mean, it's trouble for the Human Torch. It is trouble. Those fists ain't nothing to play with. Okay, imagine a boatload of water just pounding away at you. You understand? Now, when it comes to fighting IQ, both have vast fighting experience. Human Torch has more than Hydra Man, but here's the thing: Human Torch has usually or almost always fought in a team in some form or manner, whether it be a team up, a long career in the Fantastic Four, whereas Hydra Man has gone it solo. And while he's taken L's, they've been against some high-class opponents. Okay, he has had a long history of teaming up, but at the same time, it's not in the same facet, in the same fashion as the Human Torch. He's still gone solo in the teams. They've been more alliances rather than actual teams. Okay, so take that into consideration. Both have decent, nothing special when it comes to fighting IQ. Neither showcase, much genius when it comes to it. But neither is no slouch, and neither is no idiot. Okay, both understand their abilities quite well and continually evolve as time goes on. So overall, for me, after doing the research, it should be obvious and clear. Even though it would be a good fight, not taking anything away from the loser of this battle, but the victor has got to be Hydra Man. Offensively, he's a bit better. Defensively, he has clear advantage. When it comes to fighting style, I mean, Human Torch, you could say, yeah, he's got flight and all, but how long is he going to be able to escape? And how long before he gets put in the deluge? He gets dropped down. How many hits can he take? Well, this dude, Hydra Man, he may get away for a bit, but come back at you. And come back hard. It'd be very hard to see, maybe with the Nova, possibly with the gamble of a Nova, that Human Torch can win. But if that doesn't, he misses or he doesn't get it just right, he's dead. He's dead by Hydra Man's hands. So in this deathmatch, Hydra Man to me is the clear winner, hands down. Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on this situation. Many may disagree with my analysis, but if you go pound for pound, you go by what's been showcased with both of their abilities in a deathmatch situation. No BS, no gimmicks, no nothing. Who's gonna win? I'll let you decide that. Alright, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.